Alright guys, so we're busy with a class example, and this class example is really, after doing this class example, you will be able to be on top of the calculation aspects of activity-based costing as well as the traditional method. So it really highlights two things: the calculations behind ABC and the differences and similarities between the traditional method and the ABC method. Alright, so let's read the required of this example. Basically says calculate the unit and total cost for each product under the traditional method and the ABC method. Alright, so let's have a look at this example. So a company produces two products, A and B. 900 units of A and 300 units of B are normally produced and sold each year. Then they give us the unit information cost. They give us labor hours per unit, machine hours per unit. Then we have batch size, okay, and then we have the manufacturing costs. 150 per unit for A, 225 for B for materials, and for labor 50 per unit for A and 75 per unit for B. So just a reminder, typically again to manufacture a product, the cost involved would be material, labor and overheads. So this is the per unit cost for A and B respectively. However, the overheads always needs to be allocated, and we're going to find out how we need to allocate overheads in this question. What we do know for now is that overheads should be is in total 350,000, and here it says overheads are currently allocated on labor hours. So the traditional method uses labor hours. Then it says the company is considering allocating overheads in accordance with ABC. Two cost drivers have been identified: machine hours and number of batches. A requires 10 machine hours per unit and is typically manufactured in batches of 20 units. B requires 20 machine hours per unit and is only manufactured in batch sizes of 5 units. Machine hours has been identified as a cost driver for maintenance and electricity, while shipping and quality costs are driven by the number of batches produced. Then they say maintenance and quality assurance are regarded as fixed costs, whereas electricity and shipping are regarded as variable costs. Alright, so in this video, let's just tackle the traditional method first, and I want to remind you of the steps to the traditional method. So firstly, we want to find total overheads. So total overheads in this question is that total. That's the total overheads, 350,000. Alright, so that's step one. Step two, the normal allocation base. So the normal allocation base for the traditional method that told us in the question is labor hours. So what we want to do, so that's step two. Step three for the traditional method is determine the total amount of the normal allocation base. So if the normal allocation base is labor hours, we want to determine what is the total labor hours. Alright, so if we go to this question, product A is 10 labor hours per unit. We produce 900, so labor hours is equal to 900 units of product A times 10 hours per unit plus product B is 300 units times 15 hours per unit. And when you add that up, you're going to get to 13,500 hours. So that is the answer to the traditional method, 13,500 hours. Then the next step is to take the total divided by the 13,500. So you will see in the scenario we're going to take the total of 350 divided by the 13,500 hours, and that's going to give you 25 Rand 92 per hour. Right, then the next step, if you go to the steps, is to allocate the overhead rate in step 2 to the products. Okay, so very importantly, this is 25 Rand 92 per hour. Now I need to allocate this to the products. So when I go to the solution, so 25 Rand 92 or 93, just rounding, that's per hour, right? So each unit of A uses 10 hours. Right, so for product A, for overheads, I'm going to allocate 259. So this 259 is the 25 Rand per hour. Product A uses 10 hours per unit, so it will be 259 per unit. Product B, it's 259 per hour. Product B uses 15 hours per unit, so it will be 389 per unit. So that 389 links to that. Okay, and that is just simply the overhead cost. The direct cost is very simple. It is simply material and labor, 150 plus 50, with direct material and direct labor is also known as direct cost. So that's the 200 for A, and B it's 225 times plus 75 is the 300 for B. So that's where you get the 200 and the 300 respectively. And in total, 200 times 900 is 180, 259 times 900 is 233, and there you get the total cost. And likewise for B, 300 times 300 is 90, and 389 times 300 is that 11667, and then you get the total. And that is the answer to the traditional method. So, just a recap, we apply the steps: find total overheads, find the total allocation base, find total overheads, find the normal allocation base, find the total of the normal allocation base, which in this case was labor hours. So we needed to find the total labor hours. We take the total overheads divided by the total labor hours. We get a rate per hour, and then we allocate that rate to the products based on how much hours each product uses. Alright, so that's the traditional method. Our next video will continue with the ABC method. Cheers.